You can never guess what animal skin this is. If you can guess, then you can be the king's female marriage. That's right. In order for this king to marry the princess, hung a skin bag in the official hall, for an announcement whirl. If someone guessed what animal it was, the king betrothed the princess to him. The first one to play as a butcher. He approached the skin to observe carefully and stroked. Suddenly found a hair. Take a sharp look. Seems to have the answer in my heart. This must be the skin of an old sow. The second player to play is an uncle. The princess is a little nervous. Looks like a well-informed person. Princess Yi almost didn't like him. Man looks very professional. I picked up a magnifying glass and observed it carefully for a while, then said to the king, "This is a skin of the god of the forest." The princess hurriedly looked at her father, until my father said no. She was relieved. The third player to play is enter the handsome-looking knight. The princess fell in love with him at first sight. The girl's heart suddenly made up for the thump. After hearing the answer, the princess is disappointed. At this time, a savage looking for hunting rushed in. The soldiers hurried forward to stop, and the king was overconfident in his own test papers, that everyone has the right. The wild man walked to the skin menacingly. Because I live in the deep mountains and old forests all the year round, he has a sense of smell that surpasses ordinary people. I just smelled it close to the name of the skin bag, gave the correct case. The king's face suddenly lost his smile, but the most vulgar is the princess who is about to marry the savage. What is going on? Why is the skin of a holy jumper as big as an old sow? It turns out that this flea is the king's pet. He met the flea at the princess's birthday party. The princess is sitting on the stage playing the pipa cheerfully. Just then a flea provokes the king. Not only did the king not kill it, and put it in my hands, and brought it back to my bedroom, pierce the hand, use a magnifying glass to drink their own blood to the fleas, also placed a small nest for it, let it live in a luxury villa. Gradually the fleas grow up. The king made a toy car made of gold for it. After letting him eat and drink enough every day, exercising by pulling a toy car, 3 months passed. The fleas at this time have grown to the size of a piglet in a full moon. The king carefully selects good steaks for it every day. Watching fleas growing up. Don't mention the king so happy. Another 3 months passed. Because fleas eat so well. Accidentally got high blood pressure. Difficulty breathing. The king urgently summoned top doctors. The doctor was shocked when he saw the flea. Because the fleas at this time has grown to the size of an adult pig. After an examination, the doctor said, "This breed, even Watchwo can't do anything in his second life." When the voice just fell off the flea, I lost my breath. The king is like losing a loved one, holding a flea and crying. To commemorate the dead fleas, the king made a provisional decision. Peel off the skin of the flea. Prepare a blind date for your daughter. Who can tell? Let him be his son-in-law. Unexpectedly this move let the clear-faced savage pick up the leak. The king wants to marry his daughter to a savage, but the princess could not accept the savage as her husband. Ran out of the official hall angrily, standing in the Wangguan's shunglu and preparing to jump down. Instead of marrying a savage, it's better to start by yourself 100 and 100. Although I can't bear my daughter marrying such a person. But he is the king of a country. If you say it, you must honor it. So Hao Sheng persuaded the princess not to commit suicide. After all, people still have hope when they are alive. Under my father's merits. The princess walked down the stairs helplessly, heartbroken, and came to the savage. The savage grabbed the princess and walked home. This is probably the furthest path the princess has traveled. She is exhausted. Fall on the road. Even if the savage pulls her fiercely, she also lay on the ground and refused to move. There is no way for the savages. I had to squat down and pat my shoulder, motion him to come up. And the home of the savage is more primitive, in a cliff cave. The savage climbed the cliff with her on his back. The princess hugged the savage's neck trembling, and the cave is also full of animal bones. The princess was terribly scared. She has been in good clothes since she was a child. How can I accept this kind of life? She cried and ran to the side corner. Savage thought she was hungry. Bring blood-stained raw meat for her. But the savage gets closer. The princess is more frightened. What makes the princess even more disappointed is, this wild man is rude. Doesn't express any emotion at all. When you want to play poker, hurry up and take the princess to the cave to play 2 or 3 rounds. And the princess didn't want to face this ugly savage, sitting desperately at the entrance of the cave every day, looking up at the direction of home, but underfoot as an abyss. At first glance, there is not even a half figure. Until this day the savage left home and went hunting. She saw a woman across from the cliff. The princess quickly signaled her for help. Woman wants to help her. but they are far apart. There is no way. Looking at the pitiful princess, the woman promised to find a helper to save her tomorrow. The princess listened to the woman's words, as if seeing the dawn of tomorrow. I didn't sleep all night of excitement. The next day, the woman didn't lie to her, really brought a helper to save her. A family of women makes a living by performing acrobatics, and this helper is a messenger for walking a tightrope. He put the princess on his shoulders. Walk on the rope calmly. They walk cautiously. Every step must be balanced. And at this moment, Savage relies on a keen sense of smell. I noticed that the breath of the princess is getting farther and farther away. The boy walked carefully on the tightrope with the princess on his back. They have to be very cautious every step they take. If you are not careful, you will fall into the abyss. And the savage behind is also grabbing the rope and forcing it over. Fortunately, the princess successfully landed first. The boy hurriedly broke the rope. The savage fell into the abyss like this. The three happily hugged each other. The princess finally got rid of the danger, sitting in the circus and having a car and playing together happily. But who knows that destiny doesn't want to let her go. The savage is not dead. Instead, he caught up with their carriage. The other members of the circus have also become his dead souls. Only the boy and the woman escaped with the princess. But the stamina of the three is not comparable to that of the savages. They can only hide behind the stone. At this time the boy took a sip of wine in his mouth, when the savage is about to walk in. But this damage is of no use to the savage. He struggled a few times before putting out the fire. Savage is very angry. Strangled the boy. Women also rushed to resist. Also died in the hands of the hunter. See, the princess ran forward desperately, but it didn't take long. Exhausted. Can't run anymore. I can only hide in the corner and accept the trial of fate. The savage was originally angry. I want to end the princess. But looking at her pitiful appearance, Savage relented. So patted the shoulder like the first day. Signaled the princess to go home with herself. The princess lay obediently on his shoulder. The savage touched the princess's delicate arm. But the next second, the princess took the opportunity. Strike the savage's neck with a knife. Cruelly ended his life. Then the princess returned to the official palace covered in blood. The king heard that the daughter is back. Get out of bed immediately and see her. Once the naive and noble princess, now covered with blood. The eyes are full of pain. The king sees his daughter at this time one, full of distress. Regretting it's laid on the ground. To express my apologies to my daughter. The king gave her the country. Became the new ruler of this country. From then on she will never be ruled by men like before. But she conquered all men. This is an Italian fantasy movie. Tells about a princess from innocence to become strong through hardships. I hope every girl in reality is the same. Don't entrust your life's hope to love, but to be a strong woman who is financially independent and self-improving. Relative to women, men should be so. This is the end of today's change. I am Halen. Like and follow. The later video is more exciting.